I was convinced we was like in a simulation. Like I had that thought, and
my.
that there was like a higher power, but not in like God, but they were just controlling everything we're doing. That's what life was.
That's your mother.
And
All right, carry on. You're in your van. This is the next episode now, I guess.
welcome to episode we don't know because we
don't know
Because we haven't done this in so long.
So anyway, right, I had a couple of weeks off. You know, a show had been cancelled. You know, probably know about that. It was the
I'm getting lightheaded now.
the Dog Fest was cancelled because of the heat. You know, they said it was going to be so hot they cancelled it. So I ended up like these 2 weeks. Fuck all we do really. So I thought I might go. You know, I'd waste a few days. But I'm just force myself out the house. I'm going somewhere. So I got into the in the wagon, the wildlife wagon, and I drove all the way to Suffolk. It was lovely just driving around everywhere. And I stopped and I go and visit all the old churches with me torch, me binoculars, and look at the old architecture and history and shit. Then I end up on this beach on the Suffolk coast. On the Suffolk coast, and you're not knowing what really to do with myself. And so I end up on the beach. And I thought, you know what? I'd had something to eat. I went, I have to go and get myself a cheeky beers from the car down the road. So I went down the car and got myself a cheeky beers, didn't I?
Let's go.
And I thought, you know what? Though, if I have too many of these, you know, I have more than once.
Drunk.
The first one, I thought I ain't out driving. I'm gonna have to stay here, so I'm gonna have to.
So you downloaded.
So I checked it all out, and it looked like you can stay at this car park all night. You know, you pay your fee.
I was going to say, yeah, you can get a hotel. You can sleep on his bench.
No, in the old days, I used to do this. Yeah, when I was skint, I used to stay in car parks, get smashed, and then sleep in the car. And you know, and I still like doing it sometimes. You know what I mean? And
you love saving that money.
I stayed in the car park. And I was watching the stars. It was a bright night, a clear night. Yeah, I had my binoculars and that, watching stars, satellites, and all that shit going.
Did you see Orion's belt?
Pissing in the fucking brambles and stuff like that.
And his cock.
And then I had my sleeping bag in the back of the motor, and I thought the van was a bit too short to sleep in. And I worked out if I slept at an angle, I can.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So you're sleeping
So I
diagonally in the back of the van, drunk.
Nice.
And then,
If you're drunk, though, you could do anything.
exactly.
Being drunk's like a superpower, kids.
There was lots of patrols, you know, throughout the night. There was patrols. There was people coming back and forth to shag in their cars. You know, 'cause it was holiday
dogging.
season.
Dogging.
No, I just think it's individuals on holiday going for shags. Wasn't dogging.
No, if you're shagging in a car, it's
There were lots of
dogging,
cars going back and forth. That were just
I thought it was
shagging, I guess.
dogging.
They didn't come near me. Thank God. But anyway, early in the morning, right, the sun was rising. Early one morning, just when the sun was rising. Early in the morning, right, the sun was rising. I thought, I'll get some nice fucking photos. I didn't realise how much I'd had to drink. You know, it's only like 6 cans of cider, but the thing is, I was drinking
Good
till
percentage in some
4:30 in the
ciders,
morning. Yeah, I woke up at 6 to get the sun, and the sun was coming up. So I thought, I'll go picture this. I didn't realise, what I'd forgotten was I drank 6 strong cans of cider. I don't even sleep an hour and a half. Then me thinking, I've had a night's sleep, I'll go and take a picture of the thing. Right? And I got my camera, and I could see the sun. I thought, I'll get nearer to the beach here. Then this police car come past. My van was there, locked it up. But I thought, shit, now I've got to try and walk straight. I didn't realise I was staggering around like funny. The cops cars come past, I was planning to do something, whatever. All over. Then I staggered again, like I got my binoculars, I thought, I looked like a bird watch, and I got my camera, and I was just taking pictures of the sunrise. And I was laughing to myself, thinking, fucking, they're going to nick me off, because they've gone back now, they're going to come back. So I carried on walking, I didn't look back, just carried walking to the beach and then to where the water's edge was. Then they fucked off.
Fucking drowned.
It was hilarious.
That's funny.
And then anyway, after that, I had another sleep. Then I had a bacon roll. There's a cafe there, lovely big. Oh, it was pucker. Anyway, done that. Then I went for a nature walk and all that, hoping to see some adders. You know the old calculator snake.
Yeah.
Calculator snake, the adders. They didn't have the adders, but they had lots of wild plants now on the beach, including some sea kale. That's where
kale.
Yeah. And anyway, later on in the day, once I thought I was sober enough, I came on my road trip. I went up to ended up at Yarmouth, 2 nights, £40 a night in a hotel there.
Really?
Yeah, bargain. I've done loads of
Why are people doing construction work at this time?
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, so I've done that. I had 2 nights in Yarmouth, 2 nights in North Norfolk in Walsingham, where I visited the shrine to Our Lady, Mary the Virgin. They got this shrine there, and the holy water comes out.
Is this a new episode?
Yeah.
Oh. And the shrine, yeah, this water, it's supposed to cure people. I thought, I've never had any holy water.
Did it cure anyone?
Well, I had loads. I had about 2 or 3 pints while I was there. And then when I got home, I was fucking ill. I was sick as a dog.
Oh, really? Was you?
Yeah. I don't know what I called. Must have called something at the shrine.
It wasn't that holy. It wasn't that pure.
Pure.
But it was great, it was. And I went to the seaside, and they had this little smoky puffer train, a little steam train. And it goes from Walsingham to Wells. Goes for about half an hour. And I always wanted to go on it as a little kid. I never got to go on it. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go on it now. You know,
You went on it, did
I
you?
went on it.
You went
I
on
went
the old
on it.
smoky puffer.
Smoky puffer,
Me
suit me
Oh
on.
my God, it's
I
a
had
whole
a
great
carriage to
story I didn't
myself.
tell.
An old carriage to myself and all that. Well, they weren't very big
What's
carriages.
this?
It's just about this big.
Why was you rubbing yourself?
An old carriage to myself, the old binoculars, because loads of things to view.
Oh yeah,
Saw on Fox.
that's cool.
Anyway, I visited loads of places, loads of villages, loads of churches. I just covered loads of miles.
Really?
Hundreds of miles. Brilliant.
Yeah,
5-day break on a little road trip.
I'd like a little
It's
road
just
trip.
peaceful, on your time, no shit.
No aim.
Lovely. Do what you want.
Yeah, I'd like a little road trip around England. To be honest,
Same. Who's paying for it?
It's great.
up and down the country.
We've got loads of tents in the loft.
Let's go. Let's get some bevs.
Get a couple of bevies.
Vlog the road trip.
Yeah.
Comment down below.
Top up at Costco's, eh?
Yeah,
There we go.
get a big enough van.
We could bring the camera, film,
Yeah. Put the tents
get
up.
something together, make a whole documentary.
Make the
This could
van,
blow
not
us
the
up.
tents.
Everyone sees this weird ass documentary.
How are we going to travel?
I don't know.
In the van or the cars.
Oh right, so you would just sleep on the roadside, yeah.
No, we'd be sleeping in the tents. Motherfucker, in a campsite.
Tents on the by the roadside.
You know, the tents would be on a campsite. Where
Oh, okay.
they got
On
showers,
the
toilet blocks.
Do you have to pay for
local
those
pub.
to stay on those campsites? How much?
In the old days, it used to be a couple of quid, didn't it? But now it's probably about 20
10
pound a
grand.
night.
Fucking hell.
£30 a night. No, split by 3 of you. That's nothing. Tenner each. 5 nights, 15 each.
A hotel fare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or split a hotel.
You can split a hotel if you want to,
Split you in half.
Oh, wow.
but you're not going to get a room for. Well, you can get a triple room, a family room for 3 of you.
All right.
But can you put up everyone snoring and fighting and that?
Shitting and pissing.
Come in. 'Cause there's going to be like.
It's going to be
Can't
boys.
avoid it.
That's what men do.
Boys.
Boys.
Man, boys.
Oh, cool. So that sounds cool. Yeah.
It was great. I saw some amazing places. I'll show you
Did you?
pictures later.
Oh, yeah. You'll have to do that. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm
Yeah.
just disinterested.
No, I am interested fully. Well,
I
I
can't believe Twitter.
Go anywhere in this country, see loads of things.
Twitter is now
Castles,
called X.
fucking
yeah. I
Cathedrals.
know. Well, I
Yeah.
feel like we should.
I might have a road trip in the week after this show.
I started noting down a lot of the things
we
you
did.
did while I was away, but that might be a whole nother episode.
That I did.
That things that happened while you was away.
Oh yeah,
So I might have to record it on another
yeah,
day.
and I
and
written
then-
down.
I also remember a really good story from Greece.
What's that then?
Well, I can't now, can I?
Was it about
Yeah.
Pythagoras?
All right. So I tried this gummy edible. You heard of them? They're
the
legal there.
CBDs.
Yeah. Tried that, yeah. Let me tell you. Had a real bad trip.
Really?
And this is, I'm fucking,
Oh,
I learned everything you shouldn't, I basically did everything you shouldn't do. And,
Oh, my God.
stuck up your ass.
well, no, look, this trip was insane. Yeah, I was convinced. Like, I got high as fuck from this one. It's one little gum thing like that big.
You got
And
paranoid.
I had it, yeah, extreme paranoia. Right, I was convinced like the world was not real. Like I was convinced we was like in a simulation. Like I had that thought, and that there was like a higher power, but not in like God, but they were just controlling everything we're doing. That's what life was.
That's your mother.
And fuck's sake. But I mean convinced to the point where I was like, oh, this is scary. Because I kept thinking anything that happened, I was like, they're doing that. And when I was like talking to Beth and I was telling her like, I'm getting bare paranoid, and I tried to explain this to her. And then whenever she said something to calm down or tried saying something to make me calm down or say something to like say some logical thing to me to make me realize this, like, oh, because she's like, oh, I've had friends that have done this before and it's like can happen. All I would think was, holy fuck, the people that control it are just getting her to say exactly what I
What
want to
they-
hear. It's just trying to make me.
Clever people, aren't they?
That's all I was thinking. I was like, and I even looked it up, like while I was high, I was looking it up, like, oh, what can happen with a bad high? And everything I read, I was like, I was convinced. I was like, oh my God, they're just literally pulling it here as I scroll down to convince me that, to try and make me think they're not running the world and like this, trying to make me get away from the thought that's a simulation. I was like, why else would it say? And all it's doing is explain to me why it's a fucking bad high. But I'm convinced in my head, they're literally making this come up on my screen now to convince me that it's just a bad high. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was just getting worse and worse. And this went on for like 6 hours, you know?
Oh
It's
my
not a short
God.
thing. And I was fucking freaking out. And then this thing started happening while I was laying there. And it was like time was skipping. It's like I'd be talking to Beth, yeah, and then literally it would be like, it was like a when you cut like in a podcast something when you make a cut.
Yeah.
It was like that. And then all of a sudden, like Best doing something else or talking about something else, her tone's like completely different. Like, and shit like that was happening. And it was just, and it's skipping and it kept happening. So I like didn't know what the fuck was going on because I couldn't stay in the conversation or what was going on because like it would like just skip. It like to me, time would just skipped and then something else was happening in front of me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And like, I was fucking mad, and that was happening for like multiple times as well. And I was trying to explain that to her as well, and I was fucking freaking out. She was completely fine. She must be like, "What the fuck?" And then I got to the point, I was convinced. I was like, "Oh, holy fuck!" Because all I was trying to do is trying to think logically, but you can't because you're convinced from the high. And I was like,
but it's probably logical in that perception, but
but it's
someone else is
real.
affecting that.
Yeah, but and then I was like, oh, holy fuck, mate. And I started thinking maybe I'm just like insane now. Like I started thinking maybe that like
maybe I'll turn into my dad.
He's trying to logically think
I was like,
edible.
But I was so convinced. I thought that's what it is. But then I was like, but that sounds insane. But because I know I believe it, I was like, maybe that just. Something went wrong when I took that and it fucked my brain up. And now I'm convinced and I'm just insane.
It's going to be like that forever.
And I thought, fuck, I'm going to be like this forever. Or I was thinking, maybe I'm just like now I'm probably some insane son right now and I think I'm still in this room. I started thinking that. And then when it got dangerous, I was like, maybe I'm fucking like dead. And like my last memory is where I died, which was here. So I'm just stuck in here for the rest of my life.
It's that purgatory.
Yeah. And that's what happened when because when I laid down, I started thinking about that. And then I was literally just thinking, like, oh, I need to kill myself. Like, and it'll wake me up.
What the fuck?
I started thinking, like, I was having a thought and it was slowly convincing. So I kept trying to, like, fucking shake it off out of my head. And it kept coming back, like, oh, you need to fucking just, like, I was thinking about getting a knife, just fucking.
What the fuck?
Because I was so, and that's how convinced I was.
Did you do it? Did you kill
No,
yourself?
I never even got up.
You didn't do it.
I was almost.
That's a lesson learned, isn't it?
But I never even went over.
I hope it's a lesson learned.
But the head was but the thought of it was going into my head like constantly, like trying to convince it. And I was like, I was thinking, oh fuck, I could just be dead, like laying in a hospital. And this is just like my mind's just stuck here. I was having all these different things, but I was bare convinced like the world was being controlled, and that was scaring the shit out of me. It sounds cool, when we talk about this simulation. When you're actually convinced it's a simulation and shit's happening just to convince you. The scariest shit. It's the most lonely thing. You don't think anything's real. You don't think all the people around you.
I feel like my marriage.
But I just thought like no one could convince me because if she was trying to comfort me and convince me, I was like, yeah, they're making this person do that.
Yeah.
So it's just me, and I was fucking hella
Does that
paranoid.
put you off forever?
Yeah.
Good.
But that's like not the dangerous thing.
People do.
That's an edible.
People do end up topping themselves, jumping off buildings and things, thinking they can.
That's crazy because the first time
It's mucking around with the neurons and stuff in the brain and the message things, isn't it? Message things, you know what I mean?
But they say, and when I looked back at the thing again, like bad high, and it's like what you shouldn't do is have like alcohol and stuff when you do it, which I had. Yep. There was like if you're not used to doing it, like weed or anything, which I'm not used to, like they're like that dosage is really high, especially for someone that hasn't done it. So it's high chance you can have a bad high. And it's just like everything it says you shouldn't do is like, oh, I did that. No wonder it's bad. But you can just get a bad high even if you're used to it.
Yeah. You're meant to do a lot of research before you take an edible. And you're meant to know what it is.
Crazy.
And
but at least you've done it, you survived, and that's put you off for life.
What a story though.
Jesus Christ.
Years ago.
Mad, isn't it? I was just 6 hours.
6 hours is a
The time
long
skip
time.
was crazy. Like it literally was actually happening, but they say you hallucinate, so that's probably what's happening. But literally, it looked like shit was.
You felt completely out of control, weren't you? You was completely out of control. You had no control at all.
No, nothing. It was like I was an insane person. That's what I thought for like a second as well. I was like, oh, I'm one of these crazy.
That's mad. But
now stories hit different like that when you hear like people. There was a story that came out like not long ago. There's like I don't know what this woman. It wasn't like weed, but it was something. She was on something, and it made her think. I think the story was she was convinced the world was going to end and like be destroyed and everyone would die if she didn't
do one day.
If she didn't gouge her eyes out. So she fucking gouged her eyes out like on the street.
Oh my God.
She was convinced that she had to do that to save the world.
God.
And that hits different when you fucking went through
I had that
what
once. I took
went
one
through.
puff
I
once,
could've done
and I
that.
was convinced if I didn't drink 10 pints of beer, I had a kebab, large kebab, with loads of chili sauce. So I fucking drank 10 pints of beer. I had a large kebab, loads of chili sauce in that, yeah. The world didn't end.
Didn't
But if you ask
didn't
any,
you get really bad paranoia?
Yeah, when I it was years ago.
As well,
I
the
was about
first time.
17, 18. I might have been 18. I can't remember how old. I was really young, 10 or 18. I was that age, around there. And I was at this house party all night, drinking booze.
Yeah.
Probably didn't drink a lot because I was only young, but it was enough. I was drinking all night. And then I went to the pub the next morning, still pissed, and had a few beers with my mates, and this geezer come in with someone, and so he's got this, wacky backy stuff, whatever you call it, probably skunk. And I took one puff, just one drag on it in the toilets, and I was fucking floating. I'd never done fucking drugs or anything, and I was fucking floating, and I felt so fucking paranoid and out of control. And I was fucking felt like everyone was looking at me and watching me. My mates going, what's up? And these birds going, yeah, what's up? You know, what did they say to you? What did they say to you? And blah, blah. And I was just fucking so hard. I couldn't even fucking, I was there like that. They got me a taxi, sent me home. I don't know how I got a taxi got home, but never touched it ever since.
So you both had bad paranoia the first
Yeah,
time.
well,
We both done the same thing. We wasn't used to it. And we both were tanked up from the night before. We've both been drinking.
Both mixing it with
Both
alcohol.
Never done it before, and I've never done it since.
And
I might have done a little bit of that. What's that stuff called? A little bit of that stuff they sprinkle on.
but they
Got a few puffs of that.
Hundreds and thousands.
Something like that.
but they even say if you've never done weed before, do like little puffs and see how it affects you mentally, because you might not even be the person that should be doing
Put me off for
that
life.
type.
Yeah. So,
Imagine how much I fucking did. All that. That's
No,
loads. They say because when you buy it, they will only sell you one by itself. They go, the guys like, do not have two because it'll fuck. Like you could die.
Just nibble on the
It'll
ear.
fuck you off. So I went from nothing to that. It was mad. I was literally sitting on the edge of the bed, like,
what, he didn't even ask you if you've done it before, like.
nah, it's Cavos. He wants money.
All I had was one puff.
But you talk to everyone else, they're like, oh, all that shit in there is like, oh, it's fake
Puff
shit.
Stuff.
Like even people we talked after, it's like, yeah. But I think there's talk about more about the smoke stuff. But then it's fucking crazy.
Oh,
I remember.
yes.
I think Beth filmed some of it because she had one as well, and she was having like a good high, and she was just finding it first, yeah. But she started filming it like it's funny, and then it got because I was so convinced, she just stopped it. She stopped playing it, and she was like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Really?
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes, I was saying right. I was fucking left-handed, didn't I?
And I went, "No, you stop that right there."
Said bleeding mugs.
And so I grabbed her by the. Yeah. So after
Yeah.
good morning tomorrow. So
Yeah, but look how far over you are.
When I was filming
I've always
artists,
been here.
performing on my, I was filming
I'm in a normal
artists. Yeah.
spot.
I think Jake's finishing his story.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so after all that high,
Oh, yeah,
right,
we're on the
happened for
high.
6 hours, and I eventually just fell asleep. And then I woke up, and I got woken up by fucking knocking on the door. I'm like, who the fuck? And it was still dark, I think. I can't remember because we work weird hours, so sometimes we'd be sleeping during the day, so we'd start fucking being woke up during the
Like
night.
when I'm on holiday, 'cause it's so fucking
And it
hot,
was-
I never go out.
And this girl was standing there. So this is my first consciousness after 6 hours of being like fucking high and out of it.
Yeah.
And this just knock at the door, and there's this random two girls standing there,
Conjoined twins.
And one was holding their
joined
phone.
to the sides.
and one was holding a phone, and they're saying something like, "Oh," and I was like, I think they asked, like, I didn't put together what was going on because obviously I've just gone out of this weird universe, and this is the first thing I'm presented with.
And they said, "Can we
And
see
they're
your
like-
cock again?"
They're like, "Do you have a girlfriend or something like that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And there's like,
She's dead.
It seemed like they were trying to get questions whether there's a group of lads there or a girlfriend. And I said, "Oh no, there's like, so who you in here with? Like a group of lads or?" And I didn't like, I was just so confused because I just got out of this fucking state. And I was like, "No, I'm here with my girlfriend." And then there's like, it was like they made up this story about something.
Noah's Ark.
And there was like, they would say something and be like, and then a different thing, like what they're saying isn't what they mean. Like, and then there was like, because we left something somewhere, and then and it was like, and there's like, but yeah, are you? And I was bare confused. I was like, I was like, am I supposed to be whispering? Like the thing that went into my head first is like, is there someone close by, like an abusive like boyfriend or something? Because it was just two girls, and then they'd say something that obviously seems like a fake story for people to hear, and then be whispering something. And then I can't remember everything exactly, but I remember just being like, no. I was like, I don't know. Like silently, I was like, I don't even know why we're whispering. I was like, I don't know. And like it was happening for a while, and then left, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And it was something about a phone and shit, like being there. And then I remember so I went back and I was trying to talk to Beth about it, and I was like, what the fuck was that? I was like, she was like, what was they saying? Like, why was they whispering? Why was you whispering with these strange girls? Which looks fucking weird, doesn't it? And I wasn't even thinking like that, but I think she was thinking like that. Like, I just started talking to these girls and then like slowly whispering. And I was like, what? But I was just in bed. Like, it was the first time I've been conscious about being high for ages. And I was like, they were saying stuff and then whispering. So I whispered because I thought like, was they in trouble? Like, there must have been a reason they was whispering. So I whispered with them. Like, I was like, I don't even know what was going on. But slowly I started to like try and figure it out. And I was like, oh, maybe they're looking for a phone for one of the girls. Because obviously someone slept with a guy who has a girlfriend. So they're checking to see if they have a girlfriend.
Oh, so they didn't want the girlfriend to hear.
Yeah, so they don't want the girlfriend to hear that a girl's left a phone there because someone's had sex with a girl.
Yeah.
And they were trying to hide it from the girl.
Yeah.
And they were seeing if it was mine because they're saying the phone was tracking them here in like this building.
Oh, all right.
But it must have been above, obviously. But that sounds weird as well because I put that together and I was like, oh, that.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it couldn't have been me, could it? I've been with you 24/7.
Yeah.
But like that was so jarring out of all that happened after.
Yeah, that sounded
I was like,
so
am
weird.
I still fucked up right now?
Yeah.
I was literally thinking, am I still high?
Yeah, that did sound really
I feel
weird.
a bit more grounded here, but this crazy like thing just happened.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking couldn't get a break, mate.
God.
Couldn't get a fucking break.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy, man.
Madness. Good night. What would Pluto do? Is that a joke?
Damn, okay. I've been out the way in the cut, it's been a minute. Working on her album, not finished. Last time I saw her, she was fucking with my nigga. So the question is, what would Pluto do? He for the hoe, so I did it. What would Pluto do? He for the hoe, so I did it. What would Pluto do? He definitely fucking on his hoe.